Good evening. We're ready to get started. Mr. Rob Mills, our principal at Waller Middle School, is going to lead us in our invocation.
Is this on? Okay. If everybody would bow with me, please. Dear God, we thank you for this opportunity of today. We thank you for the opportunity that is before us each and every day to better students' lives. God, I pray right now for the leaders in this room. I thank you for them, and I pray for their wisdom and energy as we continue in this meeting. Father, I pray for the leaders here up at Central Office. I pray for our admin all around the school, our principals and our assistant principals. God, I pray for our counselors and our teachers, that you would strengthen us all and give us wisdom to do what's best for kids. God, we're very thankful for the students that we serve. We pray that each and every day you'll give them strength and help us to know exactly what they need. We're thankful for this opportunity, and we thank you so much for Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Item 1A is roll call. Start with Colonel Little. Is absent. Joe Blackwood.
Here.
Kim Tinius.
Here.
Matt Lohman is absent. Randy Long.
Present.
Chad Mance here. Tori Turnbow.
Present.
And Matt Sampson.
Present.
Okay, that takes us to 1B, presentations. Ms. Johnson.
Our spotlight student this evening is from Garfield Elementary School, and Mrs. Amanda Rader, principal, is going to introduce her.
I would like to introduce Jaciana Haley. She's a fifth grader at Garfield, and she is an outstanding student. Some of the things that she wrote about herself is that she's a member of the fifth grade leadership team at Garfield, and she's also a member of the running club. And you said you have run 26.2 miles so far? That's pretty awesome, yeah. As far as hobbies, she enjoys talking to her friends and taking care of her dog, Sam, and helping her dad cook dinner. And so the last question was, I am most proud of, and she said that being picked to be the spotlight student today and recognized by me. So that's pretty cool. So, all right, are you ready to do pledges? Okay.
Okay, presentation of colors by the Enid High School Air Force JROTC.
Go ahead and say, please stand.
Please stand and say the pledge with
Hang
me.
on, let's let them get up here and then we'll do the pledge. I'm scared.
Say the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms.
She did an excellent job. I know it's kind of nervous to get up in front of a bunch of grown-ups in the room, so good job. Our next spotlight student, our secondary spotlight student, is from Waller Middle School. Mr. Mills is going to introduce him.
We for sure appreciate you guys having us. Let me introduce to you Mr. James Harvey. And just the reason why I picked James today is because as I'm doing announcements every morning, doing our pledges and our minute of silence, he sometimes comes down from National Junior Honor Society and he has an announcement to make. And I just loved the way that he gave the announcements. It's just like he was been doing it for years. He also has really, really good grades, really, really good attendance, and is a great kid all around. And so that's why we picked James today, and I'll let him speak to you.
So as you heard, I'm James Harvey, and I go to Waller Middle School in the 8th grade right now. Some of the activities that I've been in at Waller, ever since 6th grade, I've been in Waller's band, which has been extremely fun because we go to a bunch of different contests and events and do a bunch of marching stuff, which is always extremely fun to do, and it really just lets you show off your musical talent to others. I've also been in NJHS, which helps with the community and building leadership skills, and that's also been really fun to just help out people in all sorts of different ways. Outside of school, I've been in Boy Scouts Troop 27, building outdoor skills and responsibility and teamwork. I've also been involved with the Gaslight Theater a lot, which helps to build creativity, and it really just helps put you in an environment where you can be yourself and be with others. A lot of my hobbies that I like doing just involve acting, technology, art, all sorts of things like that, and being at Waller has helped me to pursue a lot of those different things with a bunch of different classes. But a lot of those things wouldn't be possible without the teachers at Waller, and you can ask any student that goes to Waller like who their favorite teacher is, and they would have an answer almost like immediately, because that's just how big of an impact the teachers make on the learning environment and how they help their students become a better self. And I'm really just most proud of how far I've been able to come with Waller and how glad I am to have the opportunity to come up here and say all this to all of you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Very good, James.
James did an excellent job also. We appreciate you speaking to us, James. Our next set of recognitions is our 6A swim team that had state qualifiers, and Miss Sadie Sandifer is the coach of that. So Sadie, I'd ask you and your swim team to come up, and I'll let you introduce them and tell about their accomplishments.
Perfect, thank you. You're welcome. All right, while they're getting up here, thank you board, thank you family, thank you friends for coming out and supporting them. This season has been an absolute roller coaster, so I have a quick story I want to tell. Before we go to meets, I send out a meet file that's got a list of the kids' names and what events they are in. So we go to a meet and we get there, and I'm not joking. We get there and they tell me that I gave them the wrong meet file. So what this means is I told the athletes that they are going to be in these particular events, and literally 5 minutes before the meet starts, they are now in these new events. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a big deal because you mentally prepare for a particular event, and now you're doing something different. And the reason I tell this story is because it kind of shows how the season has gone so far. It's been an absolute roller coaster, but it's been an amazing adventure, a great learning opportunity, and these kids have persevered and done an amazing job growing and learning and just stepping up to the plate anytime there's an opportunity to do so. So without any further ado, I want to also recognize my alternates. I know they're not on this list, but it just shows how much we've supported one another throughout this school year. Okay. Ready? Zane Bricks. Lila Brown, who is also a team captain. Eben Cho. Jack Denny. Taylor Higby. Kal-El Hooper. Cassidy Lebeda. Carson Nault couldn't be here today. He wasn't feeling very well. Layla Wynn, who is also a senior captain. Hudson Plummer, a senior captain. Britty Salcado de la Torre. And Colton Throckmorton. And then the ones that are my alternates, I've got Ryder Simpson, who is also a team captain, Meredith Plummer, and my last alternate is Cameron Gant. A couple of highlights throughout this season. The boys placed first at conference, and our girls placed second in conference, and so that's something that we're very proud of. Regionals, we had about 80% of all the events collectively, so boys and girls, individual relays, have a seasonal best. So throughout the whole school year, they did their best in the last meet, and that's what led us to this point right here. So I'm very excited to see how we do this weekend. Thank you.
Come on down here if you want to take some pictures. Go on, you're good.
Because, you know, Instagram likes squares.
Best of luck, kids, this weekend. Coach Sandiford, congratulations, first-year head coach. Good year. So best of luck, kids.
Our next recognition is Mr. Justin DeClerc. Justin has received a certificate from Clear Results for being an outstanding energy champion for his energy-saving efforts for our district. And we cannot say thank you enough for all the reminders of turning off our air and turning on our heat and opening the cabinets. We can't hear that enough, and so Justin, we thank you for that. So can I get a picture real quick? All right.
Thanks, Coach DeClerc. Coach DeClerc's a little busy with this cold front coming in. Thank you for what you do.
He's got the cold front coming in, senior night, the play, all kinds of things happening. So we're going to let him get out of here. And our last recognition is Mr. George Pankton, and I'm going to let Dr. Darrow tell about that.
You bet. Mayor Pankton, you want to come on up here real quick? I just want to recognize Mayor Pankton for what he's done thus far. Through the Oklahoma Strategic Military Planning Commission, Mayor Pankton has raised $750,000 for us, for Enid Public Schools, for our new Eisenhower Elementary. And I know we're not turning dirt yet. We all wish we were. But just your effort has just been above and beyond. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for us. We certainly appreciate your efforts. And we're going to get that thing built. It's going to happen. But thanks for all your legwork thus far.
Yeah, well, appreciate it. Yeah, I spent 23 years in the military, and I've been retired now 31 years. So I think I'm getting like double bonus points now. But the Air Force has always been concerned about Air Force retention and values and all that. But more recently, in the last few years, they've become keenly interested in the effect that families have on retention and staying in the military. One of the things that's most important to them is a school system that supports their children. It's bad enough they have to move every 2 or 3 years. They have to be able to get into a school system that's appropriate with the proper facilities, proper teaching, and nothing gets higher than that. In fact, they grade every community on how well they're supporting students. So it's my pleasure to be able to do my little part to help out with that. So.
Thank you again. Appreciate it. Again, that's $750,000, and we are certainly appreciative. Almost $1 million.
Thank you. Yep. Sam.
Okay, that takes us to item 2, audience to visitors. We have none this evening. So item 3, superintendent's report. Dr. Darrow.
Perfect. First portion up, part of our strategic planning is going to be Mrs. Brenda Garcia. She's reporting to us about her position here at the district. She also has a partner in crime, Mrs. Fields, who can't be here tonight. But Mrs. Fields and Ms. Garcia do a ton of assistance with our families throughout all the way from pre-K all the way up through high school and the community outreach they do. So saying all that, you've also got a handout in front of your area there called Community Engagement, and I will turn it over to Ms. Garcia.
Yes, that's right. I am missing my partner in crime this evening, but good evening, board. My name is Brenda Garcia, and I'm a family resource coordinator for our district. I've been in this position for 4 years. prior to that, I was in the classroom for 7, and I always dreamt of being available for families because I saw that need. And so just as Dr. Darrow said, this position that we have is really what connects our schools to the outside community. We're able to go outside, build a bridge, and then help that parent walk on that bridge and connect them to our schools. And so we are excited because this year we were able to partner with Oklahoma Human Services, and we are adopting a model of having school-based family services in our schools. And so the vision, the purpose of this is truly to collaborate with them so that we can help identify a problem before it really rises into a crisis. We want to help alleviate, we want to help conquer, direct the families to the right resources before those babies are taken out of the home or anything like that happens. And so we are excited to continue assisting families. There on your handout, we just have a few bullet points of some of the things you might find us doing on a day-to-day basis. But truly, our heart is to bridge the gap between home and school and be that safe place for those families to connect with us. And so we are looking forward to adding 2 more staff members to our team. And hopefully that's going to allow us to reach more families. So that is all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you for supporting our position. And thank you for believing that this is a need, because it is. Thank you.
You bet. Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Garcia?
Yes, any questions?
Any questions? Well, thank you for beating the bushes. You've been a great advocate for Indiana Public Schools and bridging the gap, so thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that takes us to the next item, item B, and that is a virtual day for our freshmen and sophomores on the ACT testing. That is going to be April 2nd. Dr. Rhodes, will you follow up any of my errors that I say about in case I do have a mistake here? But this is just for our freshmen and sophomores on April 2nd, and we're doing this basically to give our juniors that are testing the best learning environment possible. We don't really like the virtual day option, but this is one exception. It just allows Mr. Liddell and his staff to clear the building and get the best learning environment. Dr. Rhodes, anything else on that? Okay. Very good. Well, that's going to be April 2nd. That's a big day for those high schoolers, those juniors, and we wish them the best of luck and the high school staff. Going to item C, cell phone committee update. We were supposed to have a meeting this coming Wednesday. Went ahead and canceled that meeting just because due to the weather that's coming in. But you guys are aware there's a lot of legislation. Looks like something has passed through the House and the Senate regarding this topic. So last meeting we had was a couple weeks ago, had a very good conversation. Looks like we're heading in the right direction. Looking at having the uniform policy at all the elementary schools, all the middle schools, and all the high school. So again, I'll keep you posted as we know more. And our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, March 5th. Happy to answer any questions about that, but I will keep you posted as we go forward. Nothing new, just some things that we do foresee coming at us. Okay, item D is our FFA chapter charter. This is pretty cool. I got a handout there, I believe, at your area. Mr. Hager passed this on to us that we're going to be accepted here later in the spring. And I just thought I'd share that with the board that this first time this ever happened. It's kind of a neat deal. I talked to Mr. Hager at the stock show Saturday morning, and he was excited about it. So just thought I'd share that pass that along with you all. And again, this is definitely, it's been a successful year thus far with FFA. It's been a lot of fun watching that, and looking forward to being fully vested here shortly. Okay, item E. Please stop me if you have any questions. Item E. Just want to update you on student enrollment. Looks like we have plateaued. We're down a little bit compared to last year. I've been very consistent about reporting that to you all. We're currently this morning, looks like we're at 7,327 students. So that's a little over that 7,300 is kind of where we have been very consistent the last several months. Also, I just want to add that Ms. Johnson is working with Dr. Rhodes and Mr. Rader about our staffing for next year. So we're starting that pre-enrollment process, and we're starting to build that staff But again, 7327 is where we're currently at, very healthy and very consistent the last several months. So happy to report that. Item F is Eisenhower update. I'm not happy to report I don't have any news there. Still waiting on a little bit of documentation from the Air Force Base. Once we get one more letter, then we can, Dr. Robinson correct, once we get this letter from the Air Force Base, then we can submit it into the portal and hopefully get some progress. But again, we're still playing that game. Wish I had some better news to report there. Item G is our strategic planning. Just wanted to update everyone. We have a meeting this coming Thursday. The XLT and I meet with the ladies from the K-20 Center and the 4 areas of community and culture, infrastructure, academic achievement, and personnel. We have set those as the 4 goal areas, and we are moving towards setting the 5-year plan for setting those goals and objectives. So that was going to be our rough draft this coming Thursday, and then our next committee meeting is going to be Wednesday, February 26th. So that'll be a week from this coming Wednesday, and again, we'll target in some 5-year goals, things that we want to work towards. You've got a copy of that committee there, and you've got a kind of a timeline of where we'll be after that meeting. After we solidify those goals on the February 26th, there's really a big break, and they're going to categorize those goals and make sure they're all user-friendly and present that to the board on May 19th. So we're getting close to the end. Like I said, we've set those targeted areas. We're going to finalize them this coming Thursday and this next Wednesday, and then the next time we'll have anything will be in May, towards May 19th at the board meeting. So I'll keep you posted on that. And please stop me if you have any questions. Next thing, item H, you've got a document there. I just typed this up for you this morning. We're looking at pushing our middle school start times back for next year. Currently, they start at 8 o'clock. We'd like to stagger them. So ideally, we'd like to have elementary from 8 to 3. Middle school would be 8:15 to 3:15, and high school would be from 8:35 to 3:35. We anticipate this being much more user-friendly for our transportation department, as well as parents and guardians that are doing the drop-off and pick-up at the end of school time. So happy to answer any questions about that too, but I think this will be much more user-friendly for our parents and even the older siblings that are doing the drop-offs for the younger kids, or the younger brothers or sisters. So we're going to implement this next year. And the last thing for the superintendent's report is, I just want to put this on your radar. I emailed this to you last week, but we need to have a special board meeting on March 27th. So if you could put that down, it'll just be a short noon board meeting, and that's to sell some bonds. Dr. Robinson is going to talk about that a little bit later in his report. But if you could, please carve out that time. We promise to be short and sweet. I just got a little action item there, and it will not take very long. I'll happy to answer any questions, but that concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Darrow. Takes us to item 4, regular business. 4A, discuss and possible action to approve the following consent agenda items. Looks like we can take item 1 through 6 there.
Move we approve.
Okay, I have a motion from Tori. A second. A second from Randy. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yeah.
Chad Mance? Yes. Corey Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Okay. Then B, discuss and possible action to approve the district's financial report for January 2025.
All right, I'm going to keep this short since we have the auditors here tonight. Collections are looking good. Expenditures are looking good. We're collecting just a little bit over what we collected last year, which should be expected because of the carryover we brought forward. So, and like I said, expenditures are right in check with where kind of presented the budget back in November. So everything's looking really good on that side. If you have any specific questions, I'll answer them now. But other than that, it's just good news, and thank the taxpayers for paying their taxes back in December.
Thank you, Dr. Robertson.
Move we approve.
I have A motion from Matt Sampson, second from
Joe.
Joe Blackwood. Is there any discussion? Okay, no discussion. We'll vote. Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Roy Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Okay, takes us to item C, resolution number 682. Board to consider and act on a resolution determining the maturities of and setting a date, time, and place, March 27th, 2025, for the sale of the $11,395,000 general obligation combined purpose bond of the school district. Dr. Robinson.
So I'm not going to read this resolution in full this year. I'm going to give you the shortened version, which is the last 2 paragraphs of it. So don't panic. Dr. Darrow talked about a noon board meeting. This resolution calls for an 11:30 sale. You guys do not have to be here for the 11:30 sale, just the noon acceptance. So just to clarify that. All right, so the Board of Education of Independent School District number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, pursuant to Title 62 Oklahoma Statutes 2011, Section 354, desires to sell at this time $11,395,000 in bonds consisting of a combined issue of $10,195,000 of building bonds, authorized an election held on the 9th day of February 2016, $900,000 of building bonds, authorized an election held on the 2nd day of April 2024, and $300,000 of transportation equipment bonds, authorized an election held on the 2nd day of April 2024. Now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Education of Independent School District number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, Section 1, that the $11,395,000 of general obligation combined purpose bonds of Independent School District number 57 of Garfield County, Oklahoma, portions of which were voted on the 9th day of February 2016 and the 2nd day of April 2024 shall be offered for sale at the Boardroom Administrative Service Center, Enid Public Schools, 500 South Independence, Enid, Oklahoma, on the 27th day of March 2025 at 11:30 a.m. Said bonds to become due. That's $11,395,000 in 2 years from their date. Any questions?
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion from Randy and a second from Joe. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. D, consider and approve an agreement for bond counsel services with the Floyd and Driver PLLC Attorneys at Law.
Just part of the bond process, we need these guys to sign off on our paperwork.
Move we approve.
Motion by
Second.
Tori, second by Matt Sampson. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we will vote. Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Okay. Now, to item 5, new business. Any business that has arisen that could not be? Oh, did I skip one? Ooh. Yes. I'm trying to get through. We'll get home before it gets cold. Let's go. Discussion and possible action to approve the independent audit fiscal year 2024 transaction for Enid Public Schools. Sam did not ask me to skip over that on purpose. It was just an oversight.
Pass these out. I'm going to borrow one of them. When we get done, we got some stuff to sign too, so yay. This is the audit of your 23-24 year. If you'll turn to page 4. This is the first of 3 opinion letters. I have 3 opinion letters because of your uniform guidance, which means you spent more than $750,000 of federal money. So, to start with, it's a qualified opinion because we don't show general fixed assets. There's no reason to. We don't do a tax return. We expend those items. We use them up. We dispose of them. We buy new. It's an adverse opinion because we do not show it in general accepted accounting principles, which they would like you to show it in an accrual method, which means you record your revenues when they're recognized and your expenditures when they're incurred. It's not when the cash is received or when a check is wrote. We do it in a modified cash basis, which is required by the state of Oklahoma. Basically, we record the revenues when we receive them, record the expenditures when we issue the PO, even before we write the check. That reduces your budget, and that keeps you from going over your budget. Therefore, it's a very conservative method of accounting. If I have any questions, stop me and we'll try to answer them. Page 7, this is your balance sheet. And we'll just go through the general fund now, the special revenue and the capital projects and the trust and agency. Back in the back after the footnotes, we have schedules that break out that. General fund, we have $29 million in cash. Warrants payable, these are checks that we had not cleared at the end of the year, $2.7 million. Reserve for encumbrances, $1.7. These are POs we had issued and had not received an invoice or expended them, and we may not expend all of them. If we don't, at the end of the year, next year, we'll bring them back and put them back into the fund. Unassigned, $25 million. This is where we pay our general operations for the school. Teachers, everything that relates to teaching the students. For a total assets of $29,566,000. Page 8 is the income statement. Again, we'll go through the general fund. We'll show the breakout later on in the back. We received $82 million in revenue. We expended $79 million. Instruction, supportive services were $71 million. So you can see that's about 80% of your budget. That's what it takes to operate, to pay the teachers, to support staff, classroom, those kind of things, plus buses. We increased the general fund to $3.3 million at the end of the year. Have adjustments for prior year encumbrances. This is where we bring back those POs that we closed out this year you didn't expend last year. The stopped warrants, $2,000. For a total increase of $3.6 million, add that to the ending fund balance of last year, $21 million, gives an ending fund balance of $25 million. Exhibit C. This is the same as page 8, your income statement. The only difference is we show a beginning budget and an ending budget. If there would have been any changes in that budget during the year, we'd have had to issue a supplemental appropriation. The board would have had to approve it before we could expend those funds. Page 10 through 18 are your notes to your financial statement. There's a lot of good information in here. It tells you about your fund, types of funds you have, your types of accounting, how we present the financial statements, budgets. If you haven't read them, read them, but mark your spot. You don't want to start over. Page 13 is general long-term debt. We have bonds of $9.6 million for May of 23. Those will be paid off July of 25. Also have bonds of 24. Those will be paid off in July of 26. If you turn over to page, hang on, down at the bottom, we have a lease purchase. This is paying for school buildings, improvements and stuff. That pays off in September 24, which it already has, was $8,020,000. Next page at the top, have a lease purchase from other school improvements. That will pay off in September of 31. And again, that's what you're selling bonds for, is to pay these lease purchases back. Page 17 and 18. This talks about your employee retirement system. During the year 24, we paid $6.8 million to teachers' retirement for your employees, your teachers, your support staff, and your administration. In 23, we paid $6.2 million. In 22, we paid $6.3 million. Turn to page 19. This is the balance sheet for your special revenues on page 7. We have building fund, cash and cash equivalents at $3.6 million, and municipal tax fund $1.8 million, for a total of $5.4 million. Have outstanding warrants and reserve for encumbrances for a total fund balance of $3.6 million. Page 20 is a breakout of your capital projects on page 7. We have 5 bond funds. Bond Fund 31, we have $56,000. Bond Fund 34, $300,000, $900,000 and $35, $8.5 million and $38, and $2.1 million and $39. And these are for ongoing projects that you have or to pay lease payments. Page 21, this is your trust and agency on page 7. Activity fund, $1.4 million in the bank. We have $1.4 million due to activity fund groups. We have donation and gift fund of $134,000. Lunch fund is $0, and gift fund of $445,000. B1, or page 22. This is the breakout of page 8 of your special revenues. We have revenues in the building fund, the municipal tax of $4.7 million. We expended $4.5 for an increase of $263,000, and we brought back $12,000 of reserves from prior years for a total of $4.8 million. Page 23 is a breakout of page 8 for your capital projects. I think the big thing, we spent $9.5 million on improvements this year. We sold bonds for $11.1 million. Page 24. This is a budget to actual for the special revenue. Again, it's like the one page on page 19. If there had been any changes, you'd have had to approve the appropriation before we could have expended those funds. Page 25 and 26. This is your activity fund. As you can see, you have lots of sponsors. Each one of those sponsors has the same responsibility as the treasurer and the encumbrance clerk. They have to give a receipt to the students when they receive the funds. Then they have to turn it into the activity fund custodian on a daily basis. And the activity fund custodian is the only one that can make that deposit. She's the one that's bonded for it. And then you have to issue a PO, get it approved. Then they can order the items that they were wanting to order. Then they get a receipt an invoice or a packing slip. They sign it. That way we know who to go ask if we have any, can't find the items that we bought. Again, we look at these items really hard. It's for the protection of the sponsor. Because if they don't do what they're supposed to and those funds are left laying around, somebody's going to have a need and then they'll be gone. And it's not the school's responsibility because they didn't get it. It's not the students, they turned it in. It's that sponsor's responsibility. Page 27 is a reconciliation of our activity fund. Page 26, again, this is our donation and gift fund. We show each one of those scholarships breaking out there. E2, or page 29, is a reconciliation of the donations and gift fund. Page 30 is the lunch fund, and 31 is a reconciliation of the lunch fund. Page 32, this is your schedule of federal awards. This is the reason why you have 3 letters. You spent $15.5 million in federal funds. And again, that'll probably go down because money's going away. If you look down at the bottom on the right-hand side, school lunch fund, We have $900,000 left to spend, and those are funds we received during COVID. They just kept sending us money, and yet everybody was free. So we've got money left over to spend. They haven't told us when we had to spend that by yet, but we're working on getting it spent. Page 34. This is our letter on internal control. This is where we look at everything to do with your accounting system. We look at your salaries, your teacher's retirement. We read your board minutes. We look at your bids, POs. We look at those and expenditures, your receipts. Anything and everything has to do with your accounting system, this is where we look at them, and it was a clean opinion. Page 36 and 37. This is your letter on uniform guidance. And if you'll turn to page 38, we'll go through it. Again, it's an adverse opinion because we don't show general accepted accounting principles. It's qualified because we don't show general fixed assets. There's no material weaknesses, no significant deficiency, no non-compliance. It's a clean audit. Again, we have to look at 40% of that $15 million. We looked at your Title I, Title II, and your child nutrition program. And of that, roughly $5 million, we looked at 70-some% of those expenditures in that fund. So we look at that pretty hard too, required to by the federal government. And where you wanted me to start, there was no exceptions this year. Is there any questions?
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate you coming out tonight.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Do you want me to motion? Yes. Okay. I would like to make a motion that we approve item E, discussion and possible action to approve the independent audit of fiscal year 2024 transactions for Enid Public Schools.
Thank you, Tori. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Kim. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes. Okay, now we're ready for item 5. New business, which is, you got something, Dudley? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
if you don't mind, I just wanted to say, first of all, we are watching the weather, and I know that's a big topic tonight. We are watching the weather pattern. We're going to meet after this board meeting and discuss it tomorrow, but I just want to just take just a second and just tell you how proud I am of our custodial staff and our maintenance staff last week. They really came in and worked hard on cleaning our entrances and our parking lots, and we were able to have school Thursday. And another thing I'm really proud of is that we had 94% attendance that day, and that just speaks volumes about how our kids want to come to school and our parents want our kids to school. So I don't know about tomorrow yet. The weather doesn't look good, obviously, but if you get a chance to say thank you to a principal or custodian or maintenance staff, just a big thank you there, because they just went above and beyond last week. So just want to say that.
Okay, item 6, reports, items of information, board comments, and/or questions. Colonel Little is absent, so we'll move to B. Is there any board member that has any comments or questions? Okay. We will move to 7. Next regular meeting is March 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Administrative Service Center boardroom right here, 500 South Independence, Enid, Oklahoma. Item 8, discussion and possible action to approve a proposed executive session to discuss the employment of those individuals and/or positions listed on the attached Exhibit A and Exhibit B, negotiations concerning employees and/or representatives of employee groups, and possible purchase or appraisal of real property.
Move we approve.
Tori with the motion, second by Joe. Thank you. Any discussion? We'll vote. Joe Blackwood?
Yes.
Continuous?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Chad Mance? Yes. Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
All right.
6:45.